We talked some hoops, Vinny. I think we need to talk about a division that you know very well, the NFC North. Old school, used to be known as the black and blue division. It hadn't been that for a long time. And then you know what? It
Nah,
probably wasn't even that when it was called that
it
because the
was.
Lions,
It was.
the
It
Lions were in
was.
it then. The Lions were
Yes, they
still in
were.
it, but maybe those couple years when the Lions gave us some hope, it was pretty competitive. But for a long time, this team right here, this logo,
Hmm.
classic logo, Green Bay Packers, this team has really owned the division for quite a while. And you always look at Green Bay, no matter who the quarterback was, whether it was Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers, you looked at Green Bay and said, if they're not the best team in the division, they're a team you got to pay attention to because of who the quarterback is. And I wonder, Vinny, if you saw this coming, forget about their record. The record is 3-5. But if you saw a season of struggle with Devontae Adams being traded to the Raiders or leaving for the Raiders, because I always thought, hey, Aaron Rodgers, he'll figure it out. Quarterbacks make receivers, not vice versa. You got one of the all-time greats in Rodgers. They'll be fine. They'll be fine. Maybe not. They won't win the Super Bowl, but they're going to be fine. And I was wrong. Did you see this one coming from Green Bay?
I tried not to. You know what I mean? I tried not to because I firmly believe, and I know that you will disagree, of course. I think Aaron Rodgers is the greatest quarterback to ever play football. Just as far as what he can do, his height, the height of Aaron Rodgers' powers is better than anybody that I've ever seen. And that's with all due respect to people I didn't see. And it's a passing era and everything else, but I digress. But I never felt like the Green Bay organization was all in on him. When you saw Tampa Bay go to the Super Bowl a couple years ago, when you saw the Rams go to the Super Bowl, they threw all their chips to the center of the table. We're gonna go get Odell Beckham. We're gonna f these draft picks. We're gonna do
Yep.
everything within
Von
our
Miller,
power.
all this.
Von
Yep.
Miller, everything. Like you can't half-ass it. And I feel like Green Bay has been happy half-assing it in large part because you're in a bad division, because the Bears are never worth anything, because the Lions ain't never been worth anything, because Minnesota is nobody to fear. You can pencil in 11 wins and maybe scratch out a few more and find yourself at the top of the NFC, have home field, and feel like you've done your job, as opposed to loading up your roster. You look at that receiving corps, and you tell me Romeo Dobbs and Alan Lazard and
Whew.
whomever else they got, right? That's like a who's
Yeah.
who of who? And then you say we're going to try to win with running the football, except you don't have a good offensive line. And you try to win with defense, but your defense stinks. Like, once again, organizational ethos. Matt LaFleur is supposed to be this offensive genius. Where's the genius? And you didn't go out and you didn't equip your quarterback with anyone to throw it to. And you know what they're trying to do? They're trying to say, well, we can't do it because Aaron Rodgers, we gave you $50 million. We did what you
No.
wanted. That's
Right.
what they're
Yeah.
tacitly trying to say. To say, Aaron, you asked for all this money, and now we don't have any money to disperse because we're a hard cap salary team. This is a hard cap league, and we got to preserve our picks and flexibility for the future. Guess what? When Aaron Rodgers leaves, you ain't got no future, no way.
They got Jordan Love. Hey, they got
Okay.
Jordan Love, who they spent
Okay.
a first round pick on when they could have been building around Aaron Rodgers. Look, um, I think there's a changing spirit in the NFL, and I think Green Bay is a part of that. Is part of that group that's going to be left behind.
Mm,
And I'll tell you a group that's going to be left behind too, and it's going to surprise you, based on where I live and and
really?
the people who built the house that I'm living in right now, the New England Patriots. Okay, they built the house. Thank you very much. But
I'm about to say, oh, you had your house
look,
built from the ground up? This was, this is a new build? That's what we saying?
well, I'm not saying it's a new build. What I'm saying
I'm just,
is
I, I'm
only
just, I'm just
only reason
asking.
I'm able to get it. The only reason I was able to get it, put a couple Patriots books out there, a few books in the mix helped us get there. But I would say with the Patriots, I think the Patriots, the Packers, and all organizations who think in a way that used to be acceptable, Vinny, I'll say this, it used to be acceptable and it used to work. I think it's slowly outdated. And that is, hey, listen, we're not going all in. We're not going to do that. We're going to hold on to our draft picks. We're going to leave ourselves in a good position with draft picks. We're going to be fiscally responsible in free agency. We're going to have a balanced roster. And we're going to win with a complete roster. We're not going to be top heavy with all these stars and then ignore the bottom end of the roster. That stuff all sounded good 15 years ago, 10 years ago, or 5 years ago when the Patriots also had, coincidence or not, Tom Brady. So you can kind of build a philosophy. It's almost like you got a star and you're saying, well, you're building your philosophy. No, it's not a philosophy. You got a star. And then you're able to kind of get a little mumbo jumbo in there thinking that you invented something. No, what you did is you found a really great player. It's like Phil Jackson.
And a star
Michael
who
Jordan.
Could take less.
Yeah.
And you had a star who could take less because his wife was making double.
Or a star who took less just because he bought it. He was in. He really accepted the whole team first mentality. And, if I take less, that allows them to bring in another guy who can help the team. Not necessarily. But you know what I'm saying? It's like Phil Jackson with like the Zen Master and all this stuff. Man, you got Jordan. Shut up.
Right.
You got Jordan. Then you had Shaq and Kobe. Where was all that when you went to New York? Okay, your philosophy, you ain't had no stars. And so I think Green Bay is still stuck in that past era, which is really not that old. Probably ended in 2018, 2019. Everybody, have you noticed? Everybody's gotten aggressive lately. All the Super Bowl champs, the last two Super Bowl champions have gotten majorly aggressive. Whether it was Kansas City, Tampa Bay got aggressive. The Rams got aggressive. This year, Philadelphia is about to be 8-0. They went out and they traded up in the draft and they brought in A.J. Brown. They're doing all this stuff.
San Francisco, aggressive. You went straight for Christian McCaffrey. Yes.
And Green Bay is sitting there like, that's nice for you. That's nice. But I don't think what you're doing is sustainable. Nah. You got Aaron Rodgers. You don't know how much longer you have him. I'd say you put everything you can around him. Go out and get it. Go out and get it. Get as many high-end pieces as you can get and see what happens. Because you've been 13-3, 13-4 the last several years, and it really hasn't done much for you. It hadn't gotten you out of
because you haven't gone all in. They've never, think about it, they've never gone all in. Even during those, underwhelming Mike McCarthy years after the Super Bowl where Aaron Rodgers was carrying dog bleep teams, right? And they had the homegrown players. You had the Jordy Nelson, the Greg Jennings, the Randall Cobbs, and they relied on their scouting and they relied on their drafting. But you've got to be really, really, really good to basically only build a team through the draft, to only build a team one way, to not explore the trade market, to not explore free agency. Your draft picks every time better be completely above board if you're only going to use that one route. And when you drafted Jordan Love because you thought Aaron Rodgers was done, that completely changed the math. And they've never adjusted. Not even the fact that they didn't take a first-round wide receiver in like a million years. Because I saw the Detroit Lions take wide receivers like 4 years in a row, and the only one that was working down was they got it. The fourth time was a charm, right?
Finally.
After Charles Rogers, after Roy Williams, after can't remember whoever else they did.
Mike Williams.
You know what I mean?
There a Mike Williams in there too.
Mike Williams.
They drafted two Williams. Yeah.
Mike Williams from
Rodgers.
Mike Williams from USC.
They finally got Calvin Johnson.
And then you finally got Calvin Johnson the fourth time was a charm. Like, I'm not saying take a wide receiver in the first round every year, but when you look at what Kansas City did to augment Patrick Mahomes, when you look at what Miami did to augment Tua Tagovailoa, sorry, forgive my French on that one. Where's Aaron Rodgers' gifts?
Hey, thanks for watching Brother from Another on YouTube. Make sure you hit subscribe before you leave, and be sure to watch us 3 to 5 p.m. Eastern Time on Peacock. Appreciate you.